Hey everyone, this is Leanne with Paper Heart Scissors, and we are back with the Simon Says Stamp January card kit. And we're going to do 5 quick cards again, and I'm going to show you the card before and after because this is going to go really fast because I didn't want to make a super long video. These are some of the supplies. I matched up the colors: lavender, scuba, Audrey blue, blue jay, blue violet, and hot mama to the papers. And then I tend to like these smaller papers, so I use those patterns. And you can see that we're going to use the stickers for the first card, which is a spinner card. You can see that the stickers have reverse images. So I chose to use the little snow dogs and reverse those and make a spinner card. And then there's also these really nice little dimensional snowflakes, some beautiful colored cardstock in the deep violet, the Audrey blue, white, that lavender color, and I think it's sea glass and smoke. And I use those inks as well. So the nice thing about this kit is that if you have the inks or if you want to get the coordinating colors, you can. So to make the spinner card, here is a really important tip, and that is that you cut your cover sheet that is going to cover where you're going to attach your string with the little wolves or snow dogs at the same time with your die. So you tape them together where you want them to appear. I actually put it on the inside. You could decide whether you wanted to put this on just on the piece of cardstock itself, or if you want to have an overlay. I wanted to have the overlay be on the outside. So I'm just making sure that I'm going to cut both of them in a centered fashion and where I'm going to place my die. So I just have the corners of the pattern paper lined up to the score line there and the other edge, so it's perfectly straight on that piece. I don't have to measure twice. And then I've got this all set up. I adhered it with just a little piece of Post-it tape. And then I took my 2 little snow dogs and I stuck them back to back on this piece of silver thread. Really simple, and just scotch taped them in there so that they could spin. And then to hide the string that is going to be on the outside of the card, I basically took that and I placed the die cut that was cut at the same time with the pattern paper right over it. And now it's hiding that string, and it remains pretty flat. We're going to put a dimensional greeting. One of the other things that I always do when I get these kits is at the beginning, out of the cardstock, I generally cut a bunch of pieces. I get dies out, you can see, and I cut this banner, and I cut that other little banner shape, and I'm using Simon Says Stamp Scripty Sayings to do a little winter thank you card. And then I really dimensionalized that and put some of the doodle bugs on there, and that was that. For this one, I took another die that I made that looked like a snow. I wanted to use a little snowman, but remove the adhesive from the back of him, so I'm using the powder tool to do that. And I can kind of place him where I want him. And I'm using the gray pattern paper on the cardstock, and then I'm going to stamp the sentiment in smoke ink. And you can see that I can position everything because he's not completely sticky. So I'll get my sentiment stamped down onto the paper there. And I'm obviously messing around with trying to decide how it's going to be and if I'm going to get it straight. And then I wanted to also test the color. You know, I'm seasoning that stamp. I didn't know if I wanted to do the blue. There's the smoke ink, and I stamped the thanks first, and then I'm going to take the other little line of the sentiment and stamp that in there because it's very small, which is sending flurries of. So sending flurries of thanks. And then I made a little smudge there, and so you see me correcting my mistakes. I took a couple of the little blue dot stickers, and I'm actually going to cover those with silver glitter stickles afterwards. So I'm dimensionalizing my snowman, and I'm going to stick him back there in the place where I had originally thought he should go. And I'm going to assemble this onto the card base, and then do a little bit of last minute embellishing with adding that silver stickles and some of the dots over the over those blue stickers that I put in. I really like how this card turned out. I wish that I had, I think I can make it, I think there were 3 snowmen on the sticker sheet. And then adding just a couple more random little dots with the silver stickles to finish that one. I love this card. So this one, there was a large, that postcard in the pattern paper, and I decided to do something super simple and make a little pocket card. And I'm just stamping the back of the card base with some of the Audrey Blue ink. I used the Audrey Blue card base, and I'm putting the snowflake stamp in the background. So you're seeing that I think I'm going to make a pocket. It's going to fit right on top there pretty tightly. So the stamping on the background doesn't even have to be perfect. It's really just to give it a little bit more detail. And I use the fuse tool to just close up a plain old pocket protector. And I'm going to trim that out. And I'm going to put some of those really holographic snowflakes in there. And then I closed the top. I fused the top shut and just adhered that to the front of the card. And what's nice about using these pockets like this is that you get some movement, but you can actually get the snowflakes to kind of stick where you want them. So the last card, I used a lot of stamping. I used Versamark on the, I think it's sea glass piece of paper. And I'm going to emboss it with the holographic embossing glitter that came in, I think, the last kit. I'll have to check that out, and I'll put a note to that on my blog. But I really wanted it to be just a little bit darker than the paper, but have that holographic shimmer. And this this embossing powder definitely does that. And I'll tell you exactly what it is in the supplies below the video as well if you're interested. I'll go figure that out. So after you emboss it, you can see that it just makes the paper darker. It's hard to see on the video, but it's got a lot of shimmer. And then I took that circle that I die cut earlier for the spinner card, and I'm actually going to use some white embossing powder here and do the little sentiment in there and add a snowflake. So I have another little frame that I had cut out from around that tag. And so I positioned that over this gray to see where I was going to want to do my stamping and my embossing. And then this is really simple assembly as well. It is literally taking the background, putting it on a white card base. I didn't want to dimensionalize this base piece because I'm going to put these little layers on top. I'm going to use a little Ranger multimedia mat around the edge of this really cute little border, and just adding another layer, and then I'm going to add some of those holographic snowflakes here as well. And then some Doodlebug, the Doodlebug little glittering, I don't know what those are called, but they're like sequins, except they're not. They're glitter. I'll figure out what the name of those are too. They are really fun, and so I just added those again in threes, rule of odd numbers here on our card, and added some more little silver stickle dots to around and to the center of those snowflakes. And again, really quick and easy, very unique. Oh, you can see the holographic sparkle there on the paper, but really was happy with how this came out. And then I wanted to do white snowflakes on that very violet cardstock. And so I literally just kind of masked a shape, a square off. At first I thought I might just do a one layer card, and then I decided I wanted to mount it on white and add some of the silver glitter tape here as well, and a little bit of the scrap of that small snowflake paper from the second card. So really using up all the supplies and not having any waste. I really try to get as many cards as I can out of each one of these kits. I feel like you know, we spend money and we should have some great ideas and have fun really using them in a bunch of different ways. So I'm going to use Hero Art's white embossing powder and emboss these snowflakes. You're going to see me put a little bit more. I put a little bit more on, and then mount this in white and add a strip of the glitter tape. And I'm going to cut a little banner shape out of this leftover scrap of that pretty paper with that's light gray with the little snowflakes. And I'm going to trim that out. And then from last year's Winter Wishes kit, Christina Werner had done that piece of script that was in last year's January kit, and so I really liked that, and I added that as the sentiment at the bottom of the card and put some of the little doodle bugs, sparkle bugs on there as embellishment. I really hope that you were inspired by these cards. I really had fun making them, and I hope you have fun making cards with the Simon Says Stamp kits as well. Please visit me on my blog or subscribe for more, and Happy New Year!